G'day, I'm Warwick and this is our backyard. So my wife and I, about 3 years ago now, quit our jobs on the mainland, got a job on this island as caretakers. It's a privately owned island in the Great Barrier Reef, and this is just us living the simple life really, us and 3 chickens. So hope you enjoy it. Let's go get into it. So the first thing was that photo on the thumbnail. Was one day we came back from going to the mainland shopping in our little boat, and it was a little bit too rocky and shallow to get into the beach on the island, so we just put the groceries on the paddleboard and pushed it in. So that's what that was all about. So I thought I'd do this next video on keeping things going on the island. Sometimes things might happen to different things on the island, and you can't just run down the shop to get new parts to fix things, because we're on an island, of course. So sometimes you have to wait 2 weeks or so before another boat will come to the island with supplies and gear to fix things. So sometimes you just got to make do. Just thought I'd just show you a few little hacks that I've had to do since being on the island to keep things going. Actually, while we're here, check out the spider. Moved in about a month ago, just on our veranda there. She must be just about ready to go and have babies, I reckon. She's getting pretty fat. Alright, let's go get into it. So the first thing I had to fix on the island, or to keep going on the island, was this machine here. Well, actually when I first started it was a different machine. This is actually a brand new machine about a year ago. But when I first came here there was an older machine, and it was fairly old and worn out. But just about probably the second week I was on the island, what happened is this brake cable broke. And I've got a little video that I'll show next, and the cable broke. And of course there was no spare cables on the island. So I'll show you what I did. So here's the little video of that part. This is my my walk behind. They call it a halfie, but it's a like a skid steer walk behind, and it's got brakes each side. Like these brakes are the steering. So this one here broke about 2 months ago. So it's taken like all that time to get a new cable. So this is what I had for the whole time, for the 2 months, like a vice grips and a bolt. Worked pretty good actually. But now my cable is finally turned up, so that's good. Put that on and back to normal again. Yeah, little things like this is what you have to do on the island when you can't just run down to the shop and get a new cable. Also, the other thing I've done is probably hard to see. I've put my engine mounts fell to pieces, so I had to put a thong or flip-flop, whatever you want to call it, whatever country you're in. Look at that, it looks like the real thing. Put that in there and see how it goes. Yeah, so but it's working really good, so I don't even know if I'm gonna. I did order some new engine mounts, but they haven't turned up yet, so I don't even know if I'll replace them because it's actually really good. So yeah, so now I can fit my new brake cable, luxury. So yeah, so now you know what, we carry spare cables, so yeah, that won't happen again. But that machine is like my vehicle on the island, and another thing I had to sort of try and figure out how to do when I first came here was these gas bottles. Like probably every maybe 5 months, probably got to get about, between our house and the houses on the island we look after, might have to exchange about 7-8 bottles, and they weigh about 100 kilos when full. So they come on the barge, got to get them off the barge and then put all the empties back on the barge. So, and I'm doing this by myself too, because when I first came here, Andrea wasn't here for the first 2 months. Not that I'd get her to give me a hand to lift the bottles anyway, so you've got to find an easier way to do stuff. So what I did when I first came here, I actually, and I'll show you a little video, I actually cut down an old pallet that I had underneath the house here with all the, there's so much stuff that's been piled in under the house here over the years of different caretakers, which is good because you can use bits and pieces. So I put a pallet in here, and this one hasn't got a hydraulic hoist. It's only got a hand hoist like this. So not quite as good as my old machine in that part. The old machine had a hydraulic hoist, so it was really good. So what I'll do, I'll show you in the video anyway, so have a look at that, but it made it so much easier. Yeah, so that was another little hack that I figured out pretty quick, just to make idling life a bit easier. Look at the day, it's raining. There was another time when I first came here and I was fixing up all the tracks because there was a lot of washouts, and I was using this compactor to compact all the soil that I put in all the washout areas. And I went and used it, and I worked my way all the way back down to the beach, and it's quite steep in a couple of spots, so to bring it back up was impossible. And I was here by myself, and I was like, how am I going to get this back up to the workshop? So actually there was a fallen tree on the track, so I chopped it up and I made like a little crane in the front of the machine. Not this machine, the first one I had. So you'll see that in this photo. It worked really good. I just lifted it up with a little hydraulic hoist and slowly brought it back up to the workshop. So that one worked pretty good. So another thing that happened a little while ago was I was having a shower one day, and I actually it was a different shower head than this one. It was one that came straight out of the wall. And I actually went to bend it down and the whole thing snapped off. So everything just corrodes on the island. So what we actually had to do, and I've still got the setup that we had, I was trying to find a photo of when I did it. I couldn't find it, but this is the setup. And I basically just screwed that straight into the fitting and then had that cable tied up there, and it was actually like a proper shower. And we had that going probably for about 2 or 3 weeks before we got this one brought over from the mainland. So yeah, just find the right parts and it was all good. Actually, another thing that happened was I put a little photo up, I found a photo of it, was our mixer on our sink in the kitchen. Actually, I went to move that one day and the whole thing fell off too. So we had you'll see in the photo that I put up now, that there's a little spout coming out, but you had to be careful not to turn it on too far because it would spray all over you. So that was about 2 weeks before we got a new tap for the kitchen as well. So the next thing I was going to show you was we've got a little boat on the mooring, and we go to the mainland to go shopping in it and fishing and all that, island hopping. And so it's our island transport really. But one day we were going to the mainland to do our shopping and the accelerator cable broke, and we managed to limp back home to the island again. And I managed to fix it up and I'll show you a couple of photos, but I had some really what actually happened was the outside of the cable broke. The actual cable inside was fine, so that the casing on the outside of the cable broke because it was wearing on part of the boat. And so every time you'd put the accelerator down, the outside of the cable would move instead of the cable inside. So anyway, I had to try and hold the casing of the cable together so it wouldn't move backwards and forwards. So I managed to find a couple of old roofing screws, cut the heads off them, and they were really coarse thread, and got 3 of those and cable tied them around the cable, the casing of the cable, and it sort of gripped that outside casing to stop it from moving. So I'll show you a photo of the before and after. So that actually worked pretty cool. So actually that stayed like that for quite a while, until we actually went back to Townsville and we had to go to a main city to get a new cable. We actually bought a whole new controller box and everything. But yeah, so that worked pretty good. There was a couple other things I just made up, like I'll show you a little video. I've done a video on this, so I won't spend too long, but I made this rotisserie out of just what I could find under the house. And I found this old barbecue, pulled it out, and I found a stainless steel spear out of a spear gun under the house as well. There's all sorts of stuff under there, and put it all together, and I made up some out of the bamboo on the island, made up a wheel with some old bottles, and then actually made it run by water. We actually put that up on YouTube. Got lots of comments about we're wasting water, but we're not, so don't worry about the water part. We've got endless amount of spring water on the island, so if it's not running down over the rocks into the ocean, then it can go through the hose, same sort of thing. So it doesn't matter, don't worry about the water. And so is that was pretty cool. And then another thing I made up, actually I'll just take you out and show you now. So this heats the water up for our outside bath, and all it is a copper coiled around in there, and I just light a fire in there and run the water through it slowly, and it heats up the water for the bath. So that was just from what I could find on the island as well. But like I say, I got a video and all that on that, so I won't go on about it. Yeah, so there's all sorts of stuff you can make up out of whatever you can find. But I quite like that. I enjoy that sort of part of it. So it's good fun, and it's the challenge of it, I suppose. Yeah. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little video, and until next time, see you then.